There's no doubt that this was a highly anticipated summit. Almost all major media outlets worldwide covered this China-US summit. Because of this meeting, the direction of Sino-American relations, to some extent, influences global peace and development. In diplomacy, no detail is insignificant. The specifics matter. Here are at least 10 noteworthy details discussed in this video focusing on the San Francisco China-US Summit. Detail 1. What was the atmosphere like? Detail 2. Two choices for China and the US. Detail 3. Candid conversations that resonate. Detail 4. From the Pacific to the globe. Detail 5. Introducing China's modernization personally. Detail 6. The art of proper interaction. Detail 7. Reiteration of Biden's commitments. Detail 8. 5 pillars. Detail 9. China's firm stance. Detail 10. A series of achievements. Detail 1. What was the atmosphere like? CNN vividly describes the scene. Biden steps out first, welcoming. A red carpet is laid out. The black Chinese leader's car halts at the end of the carpet. He steps out with a smile, and they shake hands. Later, Biden escorts the Chinese leader into the venue. After the talks, he personally sees the Chinese leader off as he leaves. Xinhua's official statement reads, "The two leaders candidly and profoundly exchanged views on strategic, overall, and directional issues concerning Sino-American relations, as well as major global matters related to world peace and development." Two key terms: candid, profound. Candid, no hidden agenda. Profound, in-depth discussions. During a stroll, responding to American reporters' queries on progress, both leaders raised thumbs up. Detail 2. Two choices for China and the US. Per Xinhua's statement, the Chinese leader straightforwardly told Biden, "The world is undergoing unprecedented changes. China and the US have two choices. One is to strengthen unity, cooperate hand in hand to tackle global challenges, and promote world security and prosperity. The other is to adopt zero-sum thinking, provoke camp confrontation, leading the world into turmoil and division." He continued, "These two choices represent two directions that will determine humanity's future and the Earth's fate." As the world's most important bilateral relationship, Sino-American relations need to be contemplated and planned within this broader context. The information shared is substantial. 1. Sino-American relations, the world's most crucial bilateral relationship, bar none. 2. Sino-American relations need to be considered and planned within the rapidly evolving context of the world's centennial changes. 3. The direction of Sino-American relations will determine humanity's future and the Earth's fate. There's no room for evading responsibility. What's the big picture? That's the big picture. Detail 3. Candid conversations that resonate. Some words were incredibly candid. For instance, in his opening remarks, the Chinese leader said, "For two big nations like us, avoiding interaction is impractical, seeking to change each other is unrealistic, and the consequences of conflict are unbearable for anyone." This statement is clearly targeted. Following that, the Chinese leader added, "I still hold the belief that great power competition is not the dominant theme of this era and cannot resolve the problems facing China, the United States, and the world." I noticed CNN also quoted these remarks and interpreted that the Chinese side seems to reject Biden's view of competition between China and the US. I remember a profound statement made by the Chinese leader a year ago at the Bali summit about competition. Competition exists in the world at all times, but it should be about mutual learning, pushing each other forward, progressing together, rather than a zero-sum game of one's loss being another's gain or a fight-to-death scenario. Detail 4. From the Pacific to the globe. I've seen many foreign media outlets citing this statement from the Chinese leader. He said, "This planet can accommodate both China and the US, and our respective successes are opportunities for each other." Previously, we often said, "The vast Pacific can accommodate China and the US." Now it's about "This planet can accommodate both China and the US." What's perspective? This is perspective. Some always focus on zero-sum games, but we should seize opportunities. With such a vast planet, China and the US can independently develop and thrive together. Moreover, viewing each other's success as one's opportunity. I wonder, do Americans possess such a broad-minded view? Detail 5. Introducing China's modernization personally. It seems intentional. China's leader took it upon himself to introduce Biden to the essential characteristics and significance of China's style of modernization, along with China's development prospects and strategic intentions. He said, China's development follows its own logic and laws. China is comprehensively promoting the Chinese-style modernization for the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. China won't pursue the old path of colonization and plunder, nor will it tread the crooked path of dominance once powerful. There won't be any ideological imposition, nor will China engage in ideological confrontations with any country. Furthermore, he explicitly stated, China has no plans to surpass or replace the US, and the US should not have intentions to suppress or contain China. Resounding clarity. Detail 6. The right way to interact. What is the right way for China and the US to interact? It seems Biden also mentioned it. He said, we must ensure that competition doesn't derail into conflict. We must responsibly manage competition. This is what America desires, what we intend to do. Moreover, still, I believe this is what the world hopes for from our two countries: candid communication. The Chinese leader said, China and the US differ in historical culture, social systems, and development paths, which is an objective reality. However, as long as both sides adhere to mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation, we can completely transcend our differences and find the right way for the two major countries to interact. Emphasizing mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, win-win cooperation. Only this can find the right way for the two major countries to interact. Detail 7. Reiterating Biden's commitments. In Xinhua's press release, there's an interesting segment. The Chinese leader stated that during last year's Bali summit, the US expressed they weren't seeking to change China's system, weren't seeking a new Cold War, weren't aiming to counter China by strengthening alliances, didn't support Taiwan independence, and had no intention of conflict with China. In other words, America, oh America, you can't just talk the talk without walking the walk. Detail 8. 5 Pillars. Another highlight from this summit, the Chinese leader proposed that at this San Francisco meeting, China and the US should have a new vision, jointly fostering 5 pillars supporting Sino-US relations. What are these 5 pillars? First, establishing a correct understanding. Second, effectively managing differences together. Third, promoting mutually beneficial cooperation. Fourth, sharing responsibilities as major powers. Fifth, promoting cultural exchanges. Regarding the second pillar, the Chinese leader vividly said, both sides should understand each other's principles and boundaries, refrain from provocations, not overstep, engage in more communication, dialogue, and consultations, and calmly handle differences and unexpected situations. Detail 9. China's firm stance. On some fundamental issues, China's stance is resolute. According to Xinhua's press release, regarding the Taiwan issue, the Chinese leader told Biden that the Taiwan issue remains the most important and sensitive issue in Sino-US relations. Moreover, China attaches importance to the positive statements made by the US during the Bali summit. The US should manifest its non-support for Taiwan independence through concrete actions, stop arming Taiwan, and support peaceful reunification with China. He also stated, China will ultimately reunify. Reunification is inevitable, decisive, and beyond doubt. Concerning Sino-US economic and trade issues, the Chinese leader pointed out, the US has continually taken measures targeting China in export controls, investment reviews, and unilateral sanctions, severely damaging China's legitimate interests. Suppressing China's technology hampers its high-quality development and deprives the Chinese people of their right to development. But is China afraid? The Chinese leader said, China's development has internal logic and cannot be blocked by external forces. He added, hopes that the US earnestly addresses China's concerns, takes action, lifts unilateral sanctions, and provides a fair, just, non-discriminatory environment for Chinese companies. These issues, America, please follow through on your commitments. Detail 10. A series of achievements. A widely anticipated summit, how were the outcomes? This San Francisco summit yielded several results. Both leaders agreed to promote and strengthen dialogue and cooperation between China and the US in various areas, including establishing a government-level dialogue on artificial intelligence, Forming a China-US anti-drug cooperation working group. Resuming high-level military communication between China and the US on the basis of equality and respect, as well as a meeting between defense departments and a mechanism for maritime military security consultations between China and the US. Agreeing to significantly increase flights earlier next year. Expanding exchanges in education, student exchanges, youth, culture, sports, and business, among others. Moreover, on the globally concerning issue of climate change, China and the US will embark on a series of joint actions. This is cooperation. China and the US need cooperation, and the world needs cooperation between China and the US. Without cooperation, many global issues will remain unresolved. This summit drew intense global attention. Upon review, international opinion widely praised the summit's outcomes, believing it will have a profound impact on Sino-US relations. The world is at a major turning point in history. We must recognize that the current world is neither peaceful nor tranquil. The Russia-Ukraine conflict continues, and Gaza is in tears. May China and the US enhance cooperation and communication to set the world on a path of peaceful development. This is the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. We genuinely appreciate your support.